Hello, friends. Welcome back to English Classes Online. I am your host, Benjamin. And in today's video, we are diving into uh, the, the topic top secrets of writing a winning story. All right. Top secrets of writing a winning story. And of course, we are doing this in response to this 2023 Wassce story writing question, which requires the candidate to write a story to illustrate the saying, half a loaf is better than none. So I am going to show you exactly, step by step, how to write such a winning story, because this type of saying is typical of Wassce, or West African Senior School Certificate Examination story writing questions. You are usually given an adage or a proverb or a saying, as the case may be, and you are required to invent a story that is relevant to that particular theme. And that's exactly what this is about. So grab your notebooks, for it is now time to unleash your creativity as I take you into the nitty-gritty of writing a winning story. So come with me as we dive right in. Now, step number one is to understand the prompt. The prompt in this case is write a story to illustrate the saying, half a loaf is better than none. First things first, let's decode the prompt. What does half a loaf is better than none mean? It means appreciating what you have, even if it is not perfect or complete. You are given something, you are offered something, but it doesn't meet your full or perfect expectation. However, you realize that it is better than none. It's better than nothing at all. Something is better than nothing. Okay, that's exactly what it is. So the examiners want to see if you can tell a story that embodies this wisdom, because it takes wisdom to appreciate something that is given to you, no matter how little. Step number two, plan your story. Now, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, as the saying goes. All right? So you need to plan your story. Now, notice that great stories don't just happen, they are usually planned. And here is the secret formula, what I call SPICE, SPICE. You know, this refers to setting, S for setting, P for plot, I for inciting incident, C for characters, and E for ending. Now, let's break it down. Now, setting refers to where and when the story is happening. The place and time of the story is the setting. For example, you can set your story in a drought-striking village, in a busy school canteen, or in a family dinner table, on a family dinner table. You can even set your story in an office, or even in a forest. All right. So that is certain. Then the plot refers to what the storyline is. What is the storyline? We usually define plots in literary terms as the arrangement of events in a story. These events make up the story. All right. Now, for example, a student shares their lunch. That becomes the storyline. Or a villager learns to appreciate little blessings, or someone settles for a less than perfect job offer. All right. So the storyline is what you need to think about. Then the next thing is inciting incident, which of course has to do with the conflict, what actually confronts the character. And this is the turning point that connects to the proverb. For example, the moment the protagonist faces a tough choice or challenge, the protagonist, of course, is the main character in the story, the person about whom the story is told. Okay, then the character or characters refers to who is the main who is the main character, or and who else is involved. By the way, characters refer to persons, the persons involved in the incidents or events of a story. Now, here is the tip: you need to use a protagonist that your readers can root for, a likable character, one who who is believable and liked by your your audience. Okay, ending has to do with how you wrap it all up. That's exactly what it is all about. How you wrap it all up. Okay, you wrap it all up. Now, here is the tip. You need to tie it back to the proverb with a lesson or reflection. You need to tie it back and make sure it is fully connected to that. Step number 3, write like a pro. Write like a pro. Now, let's talk about the style. Here are the keys to keeping your examiner hooked. Number 1, start with a bang. You can open with action, dialogue, or a vivid description. For example, instead of writing "it was a sunny day," try and write "the scorching sun baked the fields as Miriam gazed at the empty granary." You know, you give a graphic description instead of just narrating. All right, so that's exactly how to write a winning story. Number 2, show instead of telling. You know, you need to let your readers experience the story, because that is the best way to tell a winning story. For example, instead of saying she was sad, you need to show her tears and trembling voice. You know, when you show exactly what the character is experiencing, then you give your readers the opportunity to get involved, okay, and experience the feelings, become emotionally involved. Number 3, you know, use dialogue, because dialogue adds life to a story. You need to use realistic conversations to develop characters. This is very important. For example, Miriam says, "Mama," of course, "Mama," Miriam whispered, "if we share our bread, will we still have enough?" You know, a conversation like this, and then the mother responds, and this actually adds life and color to the story. Number 4, keep it concise. You need to stay within the word limit, because quality should be preferred to quantity. This is really important. Okay? Now let's move on to practice time. It's now time for you to practice. Let's try an outline for a story based on this proverb. Don't forget a proverb: half bread is better than none. Half a loaf, rather, is better than none. How can we write such a story? Now, imagine a character named Miriam who dreams of becoming a doctor but can only afford a scholarship to study nursing. Now, just think about that kind of scenario. Now, what happens when she accepts the offer? That's the heart of your story. Remember that gratitude, perseverance, and growth make it winning. These are the things you need to use as ingredients for uh, producing a winning story. Now, the opening, for example, in the opening, Miriam received disappointing news Then the conflict is when she struggles to accept the scholarship, which of course is below her expectation. The turning point is when she realizes it is better than nothing. Okay, and so she appreciates it all the same. And the ending is when she embraces the opportunity and eventually excels. All right, so that is exactly the outline. Let's now look at the sample story based on the saying half a loaf is better than none. Half a loaf. Okay, in some situations, people say half bread, but the actual thing is half a loaf is better than none, because a loaf talks about the complete loaf of bread. Bread can refer to the material, but then the loaf is actually the unit that you are looking at. Half a loaf is better than none. Okay, from a loaf you can have a slice or some slices, okay, or half of the entire loaf. Now here is the sample story. The sound of the school bell echoed through the quiet classroom. Miriam sat frozen in her seat, staring at the paper in her hands. Application denied. The words glared back at her, crushing the dreams she had nurtured for years. Her dream of studying medicine at the university seemed farther away than ever. Are you okay? Her friend Sadia asked, leaning over. Miriam forced a smile. I will be fine. But she wasn't fine. For as long as she could remember, she had wanted to become a doctor to help others, like the kind physician who had once saved her mother's life. So that ambition to, study medicine and become a doctor was based on, you know, a desire she nursed in her heart. It was a dream. Okay. Excuse me. Later that evening, as she trudged or as she trekked home or as she walked home, her phone rang. She hesitated before answering. All right. Hello, Miriam. This is the registrar of Ustra College of Nursing. Congratulations. You have been offered a scholarship to study nursing. Miriam's heart sank. Nursing? That wasn't the plan. She wanted to be a doctor, not a nurse. Thank you, she murmured, her voice barely audible. At home, she confided in her mother, her voice trembling. Mama, it's not what I wanted. Why should I settle for less? Her mother, seated by the flickering lantern, took Miriam's hands in hers. Miriam, sometimes life doesn't give us everything we want, but it gives us something to build upon. Half a loaf is better than none. You may find that this opportunity is exactly what you need. So we can see the events developing and actually changing her perception, okay? And trying to turn her disappointment into appreciation. That's what the story is about. Miriam thought about her mother's words for days. Reluctantly, she decided to accept the scholarship. All right, this is where she makes the ultimate decision. The first few weeks at Ustra College were tough. Miriam struggled with feelings of inadequacy, but gradually she began to see the value of her new path. She discovered she had a natural gift for caring for others, and her patients adored her gentle touch and kind words. One day, while assisting in the hospital, Miriam met Dr. Hassan, a renowned surgeon. He noticed her dedication and encouraged her. Miriam, nursing is a noble profession, and with your passion, you can achieve great things. If you still want to become a doctor, don't give up. Use this as your stepping stone. So we see events building up further and developing, into the next point in the story. Those words ignited a spark in Miriam. Over the years, she excelled in nursing and saved enough money to pursue further studies. Eventually, she became not just a doctor, but one who understood the value of compassion thanks to her nursing background. So her disappointment, it turned out to be a blessing at the end. On the day she opened her own clinic, Miriam reflected on her journey. The scholarship had been the half loaf she once scorned, but had ultimately built her future upon. Thank you, Mama, she whispered, tears eyes. The saying echoed in her heart, half a loaf is better than none. So, and that's exactly the story. You can see how the story developed to a turning point, and then the ultimate decision taken, and then we end with a very satisfying ending. See again how the story is tied to the giving adage: half a loaf is better than none. So that is exactly what it is. Take note of the fact that storytelling is an art, and with these tips that I have given you, you have got the tools to create masterpieces. Remember that a winning story connects, inspires, and leaves a lasting impression. That's what makes up uh, a winning story. Now, let's see exactly that it is now your own turn. All right. So you need to write your own version of half a loaf is better than none and share it in the comments below. I can't wait to see your creativity. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more winning tips. Thanks for watching and see you in the next class.